Hello and welcome to a Talmud Israeli production. Our topic for today is HaKol L'Tovah, all is for the best. This Talmudic expression is most associated with Nachum Ish Gimzu, an early sage by the name of Nachum who came from the town of Gimzu. But the word Gimzu was also used as a homiletic device for the expression Gam Zu L'Tovah, this too is for the best, because Nachum would regularly say that whenever things looked bleak. The story is told that the Jewish people needed to send a delegation with money to bribe the Caesar, to mollify him, to pacify him. But the question is, who would go to the Caesar? And they decided that Nachum of Gimzu would go because he was Milumad Benisim, would regularly perform miraculous feats. And so Nachum went with a chest full of gold and silver and precious valuables on his way to the Caesar. Along the way he stopped at an inn, and at the inn he was robbed by the innkeeper, who replaced all the valuable items in that chest with dirt. Unbeknownst to Nachum, he went to the Caesar, bringing with him a chest that he thought was full of valuables, and lo and behold, it's opened up and there's dirt. But Nachum said, Gam Zu L'Tovah, this too is for the best. How could it be for the best? Well, suddenly a man stepped forward, who was really Elijah the prophet, and said to the Caesar, maybe this dirt is specialty dirt, along the lines of the dirt of Avraham Avinu, Abraham the patriarch, where if you throw it at your enemy, it turns into spears and can vanquish your foes. And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. And so what looked like a bleak situation turned out to be for the best, and Nachum's slogan of Gam Zu L'Tovah held firm. The other sage with whom this is associated is with Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva used to say the following: Le'olam yehi adam ragil lomar, a person should regularly say to themselves, Kol de'avid Rachmana, whatever the Almighty does, L'tav avid, he does for the best. And the story is told of Rabbi Akiva on his way from town to town, and needing to stop over for the night in a certain city, and nobody would give him lodging. And so he had to dwell outside the town that night. All he had with him was a candle, and a rooster, and a donkey. But what happened? At night, the wind blew out the candle, a cat ate the rooster, and a lion devoured his donkey. All these things are terrible developments, and yet for each one, Akiva said that God was doing it for the best. Did it turn out that way? Yes. At that very night, the city was conquered by its enemies, and its population was taken captive. Had any of those items belonging to Rabbi Akiva been visible, a candle, or a braying donkey, or a crowing rooster, he would have been caught and would have been taken into captivity as well. So as it turned out, all these negative developments were in fact positive developments. It should come as no surprise that Rabbi Akiva adhered to this dictum of Gam Zu L'Tovah, because in fact his Rebbe was Nachum Ish Gamzu. He studied with Nachum for 22 years in the yeshiva. Well, is it really the case that whatever happens is for the best? Not all stories have a happy ending. Sometimes there is a fatality, there is martyrdom. Not all stories end well. Sometimes they end disastrously. So how can we explain this notion of Gam Zu L'Tovah? Well, in truth, it's not so much that you have to think Gam Zu L'Tovah means there will always be a good ending, but rather a person should always condition themselves to say Gam Zu L'Tovah, because if you don't, then progressively bad developments along the way will lead you to think that all hope is lost, and will cause you to throw in the towel and assume that salvation cannot happen, when in fact it could happen later on. So if you believe that each development along the way might portend something better than superficially it does, you will continue to believe that there could be some favorable outcome in the end result. It is a psychological tool, but a necessary one, which helps keep up our hope, our tikva. Along these lines, the Gemara says in Brachot, even if the sharp sword is pressed against a person's neck, don't. Salvation can come even in seemingly hopeless situations. If a person regularly says Gam Zu L'Tovah, then they will not give up hope prematurely, and that rachamim might very well be forthcoming.